I think we learned a lot about LSU yesterday, getting a big win on the road, dramatic fashion, gritty fashion on a figure-it-out Saturday. Final score, LSU 36, South Carolina 33. And we said it going into the day. Got to figure it out today. Like, this is kind of a gut check time for a lot of teams across college football. It became a gut check situation very early on for the Tigers in this one. So we'll talk about it right now. Make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel if you're an LSU Tiger fan. We talk a lot about your Tigers. By the looks of things, have a lot more to talk about with your Tigers here going forward. If you're just a college football fan in general, we talk about nothing but the greatest sport on the face of planet Earth on this platform, on this show, The Hard Count. So appreciate you being subscribed for being a college football sicko. So like I said, find a way Saturday, man. And this game had a lot going into it, right? National spotlight, college game days there. You got Herbie and Fowler on the call. South Carolina's fan base was fired up after a massive win over Kentucky the week before. They got down 17-0 to LSU. There was a lot of factors in this game where you're like, whoa, I don't know. Who is LSU? It became gut check time very, very early for LSU. In a lot of ways, too, it felt to me like a fork in the road moment for the Tigers. Because after the loss to USC, a lot of people began to question the culture at LSU, not us specifically, but that kind of became a national talking point around, well, hey, why can't Brian Kelly get this team ready to play for an opener? Hey, why can't they bring their best when they're up against it and it's required of them? Like, why do they have trouble getting the giddy-up going? And in this game now, it was by no means perfect, but they had a lot of chances to pack it in and never did. Multiple times, they found themselves up against it. Like I said, down 17-0, special teams miscues with the extra point, with the blocked punt, not converting inside the 5, a turnover where the shotgun snap hits Garrett Nussmeier and it's on the ground and things just look all out of whack. Like, there was a lot of chances now for LSU to say, you know what, hey, like, it's just not our day today. Not our day today, whether it's something we did to ourselves or whether it's something kind of freaky happening to us. Like, it is what it is. This team never said uncle. Never said uncle. And I think that's worth something. Now, LSU, for sure, we're going to talk about officiating, in retrospect to this game, probably if you're a South Carolina fan. And LSU definitely caught their fair share of breaks, but, like, charge it the game. LSU, I promise you down the road, will also not catch their fair share of breaks when it comes to officiating. What comes around goes around to some respect. So, all in all, man, I think it's impressive if you're an LSU fan to see this locker room continue to swing. Because I'll tell you this, being able to have all those things happen, being able to respond to negative plays and negative situations, yes, that's coaching to some respect, but I think even more importantly, that's locker room. Like, coaching can't pull, some resilience out of you. They can try and instill that standard in your football team, but at the end of the day, that's leadership. That's culture within your locker room. That's the leaders of your locker room, a Garrett Nussmeier, a Will Campbell, a Josh Williams. That, I think, is really what showed itself yesterday when you saw LSU respond and come back from a 17-0 to win that football game. Now, schematically, there's some things that make you a little bit uneasy if you're an LSU fan, and I do not disagree. Right now, I think it's still a little bit too early to hit the panic button on anything. New coordinators on both sides of the football. Joe Sloan on offense, Blake Baker on defense. I think what you see right now in September will be different than what you see in November. So you're hoping that there's an upward trajectory and you can take games like this and correct it and teach it the way that Brian Kelly mentioned. Defensively, just like out of position far too many times. Far too many times. Now, the good news is when you're out of position, that's not something that you look at and say, hey, we just can't do it. It's, hey, we did that to ourselves. And I think if you're a South Carolina fan, you're like, hey, if Lenora Sellers stays healthy, maybe there's a different result to that game. And if you're an LSU fan, I don't know that you really disagree with that. But again, something you can correct, something you can coach. Still, I was impressed by the way that they found a way to get a stop when they needed to get stops. Held them 3 when they had to get them, held to a field goal instead of a touchdown. You're happy with that. Now, offensively, we said this going into the week for LSU. They are best when they are able to dial it up and stretch the ball deep. When Garrett Nussmeier is able to throw the ball around the yard. However, when you talk about what LSU has to do to be able to push the ball deep, they got to be able to punch you in the face. Got to be able to impose their will physically. And the offensive line is good enough to do that, but we hadn't really seen a back take the lead, if you will. Caden Durham, as a freshman, 11 for 98, 2 touchdowns. Made a statement like, hey, give me the football. Now, is that the case going forward? I don't know, but he supplied those punches to the face to allow LSU to then have some more matchups on the perimeter to be able to take their shots. Now, you're hoping that they're able to become more successful at that going forward, but like at the end of the day, seeing LSU punch you in the face in the run game, that's a tremendous step forward, and to have their guy running the football, also a massive, massive encouraging sign if you're an LSU fan. So, I think this is going to be one of those LSU teams when we look forward now that's going to continue to trend upward. And we've seen that from Brian Kelly teams too. We've seen them lose openers, and then wouldn't you know it, a couple of weeks later, they get some momentum, they're hot. Maybe they get a win that earlier in the year we didn't think they would get. That to me feels a lot like this LSU team. So are they going to win the SEC? As of right now, I don't know if you're saying that. But I do think after seeing the way that your football team played yesterday, if you're a Tiger fan, they're going to be a very difficult out and a pain for everyone else to have to play. Especially if they correct those things that are correctable schematically and they get this identity on the ground, being able to pound the rock and punch you in the face like I just mentioned. College football now in the 12-team playoff is the land of opportunity. Play your best football at the right time like I expect this LSU team to do. Anything can happen. So the loss earlier in the year to USC, you hate having to come back from 17 down, but you can't coach the fight. You can't coach the intensity. You can't coach the grit that this team showed yesterday to be able to keep swinging, to never say uncle, and to find a way Saturday to get it done on the road in a hostile Willie B. So I think this was a fork in the road moment for LSU. I think they chose the path of we're going to continue to slug it out. I'm encouraged by that if I'm a Tiger fan. So make sure you're subscribed right here. Let me know on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, @JDPiquel, how you feel about the game yesterday if you're an LSU fan. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.